Okay, so today's Fed announcement ended up being very positive and it pushed a ton of assets across many markets up higher. But there's one thing I want to point out. It's just a sign of cautiousness. It's one way that I'm keeping the charts realistic. So we're going to look at Bitcoin. I'm going to explain what that is and then we'll go over on tomorrow's stock. Today, I finally opened up another swing trade, and I'm gonna do it a little bit differently. So here it is. I invested 50,000 into IBIT, and I'll explain why IBIT instead of BitU in a moment. And I plan to add to this trade an overall at least another 20,000, but I might do another 20, or I mean 30 or 40k. We'll see. Make it a little bit more bigger than the previous swing trade, but it's currently up a little bit over $1,100. We I'm gonna explain to you guys. That's what I mean. I'm gonna explain to you guys why I'm doing it this way. Um, so I decided, because we even though we have very positive news today, and it looks like we can potentially may have bottom. Well, we have break these swing highs right here, right? These areas um were broken, leading the price up into the overall retracement, which is a quite simply a retracement area. I mean, a resistance area. So this is why I'm doing it this way with IBIT, and then I'm gonna supplement it with BitU. So the idea here is that I am just being cautious. Even though we broke up higher, we still have other important, not just swing highs to be broken, but we're still within current resistance. I am holding this position over the weekend, and I mean, that's the whole reason of having IBIT as the foundation of my trade. It's just how I'm doing it. Everything I'm gonna say is just my own personal. It's just my opinion. I just like to share with you guys what I'm doing, so please do your own due diligence. So this is a way to minimize risk, because even though everything is very positive, within all the positivity, right? There's a ton of hype, and then sometimes the hype can cause traders to miss out important points. For example, one of the points being that the labor market is actually somewhat balanced. It's not as bad as a lot of people believe it is. That's what was said during the meeting today, the announcement. So there is this sign that the Fed isn't guaranteed to cut rates. It's not official until it happens. So that, and then any other, you know, um, important economic data that comes out in the future before the next rate meeting, we got to keep a very close attention to that. And not just close attention to what those numbers are going to be, but where we are currently within the Bitcoin chart and how that influences Mara. So there's still a little bit of like a curveball with that. So I'm being cautious by simply creating a foundation for this swing trade with IBIT at really, really good prices. I opened up the swing trade down here in the red accumulation area, right? So far, we did go into the orange overlapping um, support area, but until we have bullish confirmation, which I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about, I will not add to BitU to boost the IBIT position, um, because we need bullish confirmation. As of right now, all we did was I mean, it was going to eventually happen, right? Where we just go up into resistance. We can still easily see there's two ways this can play out, and then I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to take advantage of it. So if the price continues to hold strong over the weekend and enters into next week, the next trading week after this weekend, and we're a bit higher within this resistance area, right? Because we still have some more room to go, regardless of the RSI being maxed out. So if we're up higher, then I'm just going to close out the IBIT position and lock in whatever profits I have there. Now, here's the other thing. I am going to keep very close eyes on a simple retracement. And if the price goes up higher, I'll follow it. So the idea here is that over this weekend, potentially leading into next week, we can also see the price come down because we have a massive value gap right here, right? There's a really nice value gap on the hourly charts, uh, overlapping perfectly with the retracement. Of course, it makes up the majority of the rally. So the idea here is that we can still see, because we're in resistance. Besides it being able to go up higher, we can easily come down. If we come down and we're within this resistance, or I mean this support retracement area, or just anywhere within the green box, then at that point I'm looking to add um to BitU, open up a BitU trade to supplement the foundation trade of IBIT for this overall swing trade. So yeah, the idea there would be that we are starting to, there's a lot of optimism regardless of what Jerome Powell said with the curveball. So we can easily just see the price come down, find support within a higher low, and then break up higher. If this is the case where we come down and we come down to this area and I have an opportunity when the market opens again to add and the price jumps up higher, then I'm just looking for weakness. I'm looking for the RSI to show weakness. I'm looking for these previous value gaps to be filled in order for me to want to start locking in some profit. Also, if, and this is just an estimate at the moment, so I'm not gonna keep it on here. But let's just say we did top out here and we're coming down into retracement before going up higher. Let's say we come down to the middle of that basically. As of right now, the estimate would be that, hey, we come up to this level, potentially hitting 23K once again, getting closer to all-time high, and it will also fill in these value gaps. At that point, there's strong resistance there, at least in the short term, to start locking in profit and then paying attention to how healthy the price is within an overall a bigger support area for a corrective move that would probably be very short-lived and then go up higher. So that's the idea, right? So I mean, I said a lot, so I'm gonna simplify it. If the price continues higher and holds higher into next week, I'll probably just close IBIT and wait for a new setup, lock in profits and wait for a new setup. There's nothing wrong with that. If we come down and we hold a higher low and I have the opportunity, then I would add at least 10K, maybe more, to start off the BitU supplemental position for IBIT, and then hold support and go up higher. Now, in the scenario where we actually break and we go lower, all that means is it doesn't change anything. All it means is that that's the reason of IBIT, right? It's less aggressive. It's just a way to, open up some exposure on a swing trade for 128K next. So if we go lower, I'm not going to be looking to get out of that position because we still have all this support room to come down. We can easily come all the way down to like 107K. We also have this value gap from all the way back here that was not filled in just yet. And if we do come down, it would also create a very healthy lower low from this overall corrective move down with this overshooting wave up to a new all-time high. So it will just create a bigger picture third wave down. Now it's not necessary, but I'm just saying that, lower prices, regardless of all this optimism, could still potentially happen. And it will actually be very, very healthy. But if there's enough optimism, I will be looking at either selling if it sustains or accumulating BitU on the side within support. If it comes down lower the moment we break below the swing low, then I'm just gonna sell that BitU position because it's leveraged, and then just keep the IBIT as the foundation for this overall swing trade, and then just look to accumulate BitU at more attractive prices towards the bottom of this red range. But that's just a bunch of different scenarios. As of right now, in the short term, if momentum is up, then we can easily keep going higher. If there's a retracement opportunity, it won't be bad. Just, make sure you set your SLs where it makes sense to you. But if momentum is up in the short term, we can just look for, price coming down into retracement, also mixing with a 120 moving average. And this will allow the price to also, besides it, still making sense for it to come down here, we still have all this room. So either we can come down, hold support, go up and max out this blue retracement area. And then also we can see short-term resistance within this value gap right here. Besides that, quite simple. If we continue to go up higher and we enter next week around 119 and 120K, then I would just sell the IBIT and then have no, short-term swing positions opened, and then instead wait for a clear setup to continue a new one. Now with Mara stock, and this is nothing has changed from yesterday's video. I said many times, and I said this in yesterday's video too, that we've seen a setup like this happen very, very similarly in 2024. And during this setup in 2024, we've also had fear, and then the fear gets completely annihilated with positive news, and then optimism and greed are still fighting each other, but things are looking good. We had a very similar setup where the price found support and was very narrow on this sideways moving channel that we have here, and then as it continues, it gets wider. Regardless of this being due to economic data, announcements, or anything, it doesn't matter. What matters is that it's widening. So if you guys remember, I said in previous videos, like every time we reach this short-term resistance, it's a good idea to sell. If we come down, hit the support, maybe it's a good idea to accumulate with the idea of selling up here. So as of right now, regardless of how much optimism there is, we'll see what happens over the weekend, and we'll see if there's any new news over the weekend. But as of right now, um, I'm still looking at higher prices for Mara stock, just because we're still in this uptrend, has not been invalidated yet. That would be invalidated the moment we break below this yellow support line down here, which will ruin the uptrend, and then therefore we're looking. And I gave you guys an estimate where it could be. I gave you guys an estimate where the next, we have our SLs, we're triggered, we have no short term positions open anymore, and then at that point, I gave you guys an estimate of where we could potentially look at strong support to just trade a recovery rally upwards into retracement or bigger picture retracement, right? But until we have that, until we have that, we're still holding overall support in red. It's a simple retracement for the whole move higher. So as of right now, the view is still okay. The view is still up with short-term resistance being in the yellow, overlapping with this value gap, right? So somewhere between 18 and 19 bucks. Short-term strong resistance. But the idea is that until we can have a sustained break into either direction, the idea is that, it's simple. Continuing to trade this sideways channel, blue line support and resistance. As we continue further, again, I said I wouldn't be surprised, and we're seeing it happen. It's just my opinion, but it's happening the way I said it would, where we start to see this widen. So as we continue forward, we can still come down and we can see some short-term narrowness, but the idea is that the price will begin to narrow. It's widening, and then the idea is for it to widen more as it builds enough momentum to have a breaker structure in either direction. So, in my opinion, the best way to approach Mara right now is just to pay attention to the sideways channel. The RSIs are, very, very healthy within a structure like this to just go off of, especially on the 1 hour. It's just what makes sense to me. But as of right now, in the real short term, regardless, we'll see what happens over the weekend. But as of right now, we can still see a little bit more upward momentum, but I wouldn't be surprised if it quickly dips down, breaks the 0.5 as $15.68, and then we continue to see this channel form, right? There's no reason to think otherwise, in my opinion, until we have a sustained break of structure in either direction. As of right now, though, we're up here. Makes sense for it to come down. We are holding above the resistance line, but this trend line is it's I just drew it there. It's not like super concrete. There's a lot of wicks and some candle bodies that kind of mix with it. So it's not like 100% like, guaranteed for this to be the best resistance possible. That could potentially act as support in the future. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to it. It's just to illustrate where the majority of the volume is within this sideways channel, right? So as of right now, short term, I'm looking for a pull down, and then the 120 moving average is perfectly in line with the 0.5 basically. So we can see it can dance around it for a little bit for a bit longer before we have a sustained break of structure, right, in either direction. So yeah, short term, bearish. When we come down, I'll be short term bullish, and I'll repeat. But as long as we're holding support, right? As long as we're holding this supportive range, the idea is that eventually we will have higher prices, and then the moment we break over 20 bucks, really good idea to start locking in profit, right? Like don't be greedy, in my opinion. Yeah, hopefully this video made sense, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.